RWP is brought to you by Porch Beer Entertainment.
So we'll do this episode, and we'll do the study questions, and then before we record next, we will pick the book that we're going to do next. Because we have options, so we'll definitely look through those options. And I may throw a new one in the mix, too, as an option as well.
We're in chapter
16. 16. Yes, we are.
16 through the end of the book. Okay.
16 through the end of the book. So we are going to finish the book on this episode tonight. And we also have some study questions, some book. These are from Oprah's website.
Yeah.
These are literally from Oprah's book club's website as far as our book club questions. So we will be getting to those at the end of the episode, which I'm very excited about because there are, just to give the folks at home a tease so you don't just stop listening, we have a question like...
They were waiting for the Oprah book club question.
Well, now they know, like, we got to take these guys seriously. One of the questions is, which scene has stuck with you the most? And there's quite a few to choose from. Honestly.
Weirdly, I think I know which one has stuck with me.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to find that answer out, and I'm excited to finish this book because it's funny. I will say, not to be like as I did read obviously this section heading into this episode, and I will say not a whole lot happens at the end of the book here. You can tell the author was kind of like, all right, I got to wrap this up in 90 pages or however long this book is. It's very short.
Chapter 16 is page 73 of 98.
Yeah, 98 pages.
77% of the way through the book. There is no resolution, but they sprint to the finish.
They do, and of course you can follow along at home.
It's just so crazy that he dies.
And Cradles, yeah, right. Curves and Cradles. That'd be fun. That would make for a good book if, like, at the end of the book, Cade comes into the house as those two are in the middle mid coitus, and Cade shoots them both in the head, and then takes a baby and runs, and he heads down to Mexico and raises the child.
And he meets up with Danny,
as his own.
And Danny and Cade were really the
right. Forgot about Danny. And then the hot siblings are chasing after him to try to find out what happened to their sister. We could write a much better
just wrote a book. I think we just wrote a book.
But if you haven't been following along, of course, go back and listen to the other episodes. But it's Curves and Cradles, a Navy SEAL / One Night Tour Forever / Curvy Girl romance. And let's not forget that in the parentheses, Windsor Securities, which I don't understand.
No clue
what that is. And keep in mind, we do call this a bad book club. This book has 4.5 stars with 900 ratings on Amazon. 4.5 stars. But before we finish the book, I want to read a couple of the reviews.
It's a Windsor Securities.
I don't know what Windsor Securities is.
It's like a stocks, bond, mutual funds, brokerage firm.
But what does that have to do with... I mean, I think it's part of this universe or something that Cat Baxter has built, I guess. But these are a couple of the reviews. People are just writing okay, here's a review by Crinkle82. Kevin and Jane are literally what I hope for in real life.
Nope, that's not good.
That live, they meant to write life, that live where you know you deserve it. Or no, they meant to write love, sorry. That love where you know you deserve it but want to be chosen for who you are and not what you are. I absolutely love the way Cat Baxter relays her stories and the true love between the characters.
Does that include having sex in a school?
Yeah.
Is that what they're endorsing?
This is Rita Harper wrote this review. 4 out of 5 stars. Good story. I enjoyed this book. The characters were likable, and the story was good. Jane's sister needs to be taken down a peg or two, but overall a good read.
Jane's sister has 4 sentences in the whole book.
Now, to be fair, Jane's sister was part of that group that was just shitting all over the main
Not even
girl
true.
at the party or whatever. So maybe that's their point.
And we know her husband is whipped.
I'll read one more here. This is from
Get
Melinda Swain. This
wait,
was
do two more. Try a 5-star and a 1-star.
okay. This is a 5-star review. This was reviewed in the UK. Miss Baxter always gives us the best characters and stories. If you enjoy insta-love romance, then this will definitely do the trick. But fair warning, do not start it right before work, as you will not want to put this book down to do anything. What an amazing read from start to finish. Loved it. Can't wait to read more by the brilliant Miss Baxter. Can I organize it by? Oh, here we go. 1-star review.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. 1 star. And the name of the person that is reviewing it is called Knitting in the Last Frontier. That's their username. And their review is 1 star, and the subject line is "Sailors aren't soldiers." So her whole criticism here is about. Let me just read it to you. Girl, I get that this is fantasy, but at least have the decency to do basic elementary level research before you use the military as a tool in your writing. By the 3rd time the supposed Navy SEAL protagonist called himself a soldier, I was done. I don't understand.
He's a seaman. Yeah.
Why so many authors think it's okay to do that. If their hero is a surgeon, you don't hear him referring to himself as a psychiatrist or a nurse. If a heroine is a lawyer, she never refers to herself as a librarian or an MBA. I don't understand why it's okay to do with the military. You do know they're real people behind the trope, right? Literally 5 minutes on Google could help with this, but I guess one faceless military hero is interchangeable with another. I'm surprised she didn't have him wearing green khakis. Ooh, that is quite a burn here. I mean, Knitting in the Last Frontier, let's be honest. The military aspect to this book is a very subtle feature to the book here. I mean, I get what I guess her point is probably. I mean, we know that like Cat Baxter clearly doesn't come from a military background. It doesn't seem like it. So I don't think
no, not at all.
But I mean, I don't know. It seems a very weird thing to harp on here. But hey, that's their opinion, and that's what they want to do. But we'll move into chapter 16, people. So we're going to finish off the book, and this will be pretty quick because, like Salty Dalton said, I mean, some of these chapters are like 2 pages long. But where we last left Kevin and Jane was, let me turn down the music a little bit.
My orgasm hits like a tidal wave.
Yeah.
That is where chapter 15 ended.
Chapter 15 was almost entirely a sex scene. I think it was entirely a sex scene when after Jane had said, like, hey, we're not going to have sex. And then chapter 15 hit, and she's like, all right, we'll have sex.
Yeah.
So chapter 16 starts. We're from Kevin's perspective. And Kevin, he's, this is obviously post what happened. Maybe this is the next day or something like that. He's thinking to himself, he's like, I know Jane and I belong together. She and Stella are my family. He bought her an engagement ring, which is very quick considering they had sex yesterday. At least somewhere around that time frame.
And he based the decision that that he wants this woman to be his forever after he saw her O-face.
Yeah, he did.
Literally, that's what it describes. Like, it describes her Yahtzee.
Right.
And then her mouth falls open. He's never seen anything more beautiful. And
then God, you're right. They did use that description.
And then he Yahtzees and then says, I know I want this woman to be mine. So it's based purely off of the carnal desire, I still think.
Yeah. It's definitely not the most romantic transition to an engagement ring. But he buys her an engagement ring. He's sitting in his truck. He's trying to figure out what can I say? He says, I can't promise her never-ending love, which is like, okay.
Well, that's sort of
isn't that the whole point of getting married? Is like that's what you're promising? Don't they say that like on the aisle or at the?
I'm not saying
at the
that
front
I'll
at the
love
altar
her forever, but I
Yeah.
want to get married.
He says, I'm not sure
Um,
I know what love is or if I have it in me to give. So, again, these are right away two immediate red flags if you're Jane. Like, all right, he
mhm.
can't promise her never ending love, and he's not sure what love is or even if he has the ability to love. Like, he's a robot without a heart. But I know I care about Jane and Stella, so I can give her that. So he's like, all right, I can't promise her love, but I can promise her commitment. So he
He
picks up some
picked up
flowers.
some daisies because he doesn't
Yes.
think she wants roses.
Which
Um,
there's weird shade thrown at roses in this chapter where it's like, look, like I mean, obviously, like people have their preferences when it comes to flowers, but like, there's nothing wrong with buying a woman roses. That doesn't like automatically make her.
well,
He
just
says, I
flowers
don't
in
think
general, and like
right.
I mean, I get daisies, but like I don't know, daisies are also don't they just grow everywhere?
Yeah, like
I
in
just
the
think
front yard.
it's a weird detail considering he doesn't know her favorite flower, but
Right.
to take such a hard stance on no roses,
Yeah. He says,
yeah, I think it's kind of weird.
I don't think Jane is the long stem roses kind of girl, which is just a weird. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that
Maybe he
means.
made that decision after he looked and saw how expensive the roses were and was like,
That's true.
"Yeah, I
Roses
don't think she wants this."
when you go on like flowers.com or whatever and you look at the ordering thing and you're like, oh, if I want to get a bouquet of roses, it's like $175. And you're like, okay, I'm not going to be doing that, I don't
Well,
think.
especially like, and like I've looked in the grocery stores and it's like any time that it's not a holiday,
Yeah.
they're like pretty reasonably
Right, right,
priced,
right.
but the
But they
second
jack it up.
it is like they walk around the store with a price gun that
Hmm.
quadruples the price.
Don't even
And you go
try to buy
one day
flowers in
after,
February.
oh,
It's
dude,
you're
good
in
luck.
I mean, starting at like February 1st, they start marking that up like 50% on the
It's
flowers.
nuts. It's crazy.
So he
But
texted her earlier saying that he wanted to talk, and apparently she, said, "Yep, she'll let you know when Stella's asleep." So he made the block. I made the block one more time. I think
he circled around.
yeah, and then he
It's like
parked
it's a
outside her
weird way to
house.
say I drove around the
Yeah.
block.
10 minutes later, he gets her text, and the black velvet box, which is where the
So
ring is
I
tucked
have
into
this
his jeans.
highlighted because she keeps talking about how his like jeans are painted on, how he's
Right.
like in skin tight
Oh
clothing,
yeah,
and I'm
that
just
thing
like,
is
listen,
popping out.
ring boxes are huge.
Yeah.
So if he just has that into his jeans pocket, like it's got to be the most noticeable
It's not staying
bump.
hidden very long. She's like, "Are you
No.
surprised to see me, or is that an engagement ring in your pocket?"
Yeah.
Uh,
And he's like,
uh,
actually, it's not. It's in my back pocket. Let's do this. Yeah.
Jane opens the door, and he hands her the daisies. Apparently, and then she goes, "How did you know daisies were my favorite?" Um,
Because Cat Baxter's the author and wrote it in there.
and then he says they're authentic, not pretentious, and lovely. Just a weird way to describe flowers in
Again,
general. These
just like,
inanimate objects,
yeah, it's just like,
authentic.
I wish he had just went into more detail, been like, thank God you didn't bring me roses because then I knew you wouldn't have been serious about
Also,
this.
is that slightly a dig? He's like, they're
Yes,
very
100%.
homely. They're very down to earth and like very. It's just like
They're awkward, but curvy in all the right
right. They
ways.
like to trip a lot with big smiles on their faces. Um, She says we should talk. They go into the kitchen. She pulls a vase out of the cupboard, fills it with water. She's like, "Here, let's do the thing where we finish the sentence." Okay, so I'm gonna read the the thing that she said or he says, and then you
Okay.
say what she says. So this is him. He's following her into the kitchen. He goes, "Last night was."
Amazing, she says,
There we
turning to
go. Turn
face
it.
me.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So that was how they interacted. It was last night was amazing, so amazing. He says again. This dialogue is beautiful. These
Oh,
these lovers are really speaking eloquently. I step over to her, bracketing my arms on either side of her. I've never really heard it described like that. Bracketing.
so that's just a hug.
No, I don't. I
It's a
think it's
hug, right?
literally no. I think it's literally like so. A bracket is like this. So he's like got his arms like this. If you're listening to the show, not watching the show, I have my arms like straight out, and almost as if he's like blocking her because a bracket is like a bracket.
Yeah. It's a weird way to describe. somewhat
putting his
hugging
arms around her.
somebody.
Yeah, I don't know. He says, "We're good together." And I take a breath and step away. He can't remember any of the words he's practiced in his trunk because obviously, again, he speaks so eloquently.
For
He,
sure.
he
Yep.
mentions he's never had this connection with anyone before. She's like, me neither. And then he goes in his little soliloquy here. I don't know anything about how families are supposed to be because if you recall from previous readings, this man was
He always
almost
looks up in
sold
the
into the
distance.
circus,
Yeah.
basically.
You hear happy kids running around in the background as
Yep.
he flashbacks to him sitting on a bench all alone, re
Yep.
Stuart Little.
Yep, he
Yeah.
doesn't know how family's supposed to be except my fellow SEALs. They're the only family I've ever had, which that one reviewer of the book said this is all BS.
Yeah. She
uh,
should do some research on Google.
yeah. I turned to face her, but I know you and Stella are everything I've ever wanted. And those moments when I let myself dream. See, this was a weird. This was kind of a. I'm gonna cringe cowbell this one. In those moments when I let myself dream, you're it, Janie.
I
I don't
mean,
like that
I guess he
sentence.
he selectively chooses whether or not he just thinks about it. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
I
a weird it's nice, I guess. It's just very strange.
this book really runs out of steam here because you're at Jane. He pulls a black box from his pocket, opens it and holds it out to her. Marry me. That's literally it. That's the
Boom.
end of chapter 16.
Yep.
Nothing
That
else
was
happens
three
there.
pages.
Now we move to chapter 17. This is Jane's perspective. She
Yep.
shakes her head and backs
She
away
she
from him.
she's like, the ring is great.
Yep.
She would have picked it out if she had gone with him. So he has crushed the flowers. He
He knows
apparently
everything
bought
about
her
her
a
for this
dream
woman that
ring.
he barely knows. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and then she describes it like again, it's like a vintage setting. I don't know what that even
I
means
don't
with a
know.
braided band and a pink diamond. So it's a pink diamond. It's stunning. She wants to say yes to
Right.
tell her heart to screw off and just say, but doesn't her heart
I
is the
feel like
one
her
that wants
heart
it.
is the one that wants to like
Her
bang this
brain is
guy
the one that's like,
constantly.
I want you to want me for me.
Right.
So I think she
Not
got that a little
because you
confused.
look like Cleopatra. It's that song. She likes me
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me. Sorry, we should sing the entire song.
um, so essentially, she goes, "It's gorgeous, but I
Yeah.
can't." So
Yeah.
she turns down his marriage proposal. He goes, "I don't
Immediately.
understand. Last night," and she was like, "Last night was amazing. Like we had sex. It was great.
Right.
But it
Yeah.
doesn't change anything, and it can never ever happen again. Shut it down.
Which we've
Shut
heard
it
before.
down."
We've heard her say
Yes.
this before. But yeah, so immediately, I mean, this is you get on the knee, you
Awkward.
propose,
It's so awkward.
immediately shut down. See, this is, and on a side note, I am always, the types of videos that make me cringe
Oh,
are the
dude, the
public
ones where
proposal
the
ones where the girl is like
can't do
very
it. Oh my
upset
god.
by like the fact that a guy's doing this, where it's clearly like she's doesn't want to embarrass the guy, but she also like is not going to say yes and stuff like that. It's always makes me just I always hate it. I hate it so much because it's like if you're in a relationship and you're proposing, like you kind of need to have like almost 99% certainty that the other person is going to say yes. Like you kind of need to have talked about it or like, like I'm not telling people what to do, but at the same time, it's like, I feel
Well,
like you should
that's
have
just
a
it. Is
pretty
like
good idea of what the other person's going to
in
say.
like some of these big public proposal ones, like they had people set up watching
Oh
with
yeah.
cameras and stuff, and
Oh, it's so bad.
it's like, yeah, you can be blinded by love sometimes, but I do always wonder because it makes me physically uncomfortable to watch
Oh,
those.
it's so
It's
bad.
just like, where did you not receive any sort of signal that
Oh,
maybe that wasn't in the cards,
it's
right? Like
so bad.
it's just, ugh.
So she says, yeah, it can't happen again. She says, like, let's go sit. And she's like, this would be different if we
Oh,
didn't have Stella.
yep, I
Um,
got a paragraph highlighted here. I
yeah,
don't know if you do too.
go ahead.
Um, she points to the ring and she's like, "This is nothing more than duty speaking. Admirable, and I'm probably dumb for not jumping on it, but I want more." And so his jaw clenches and he's like, "More what?" And she goes, "I want love. You and I are good in bed, and we have a daughter, but that's not how you build a family. You likely wouldn't even be here if you hadn't found out about Stella."
Oh, this is so cringy here.
It's just like, Well, first of all, like it's sort of how you start a family.
Yeah, that's actually literally the two
It's kind of the
pieces.
steps that you
Yeah,
go through. And so he's just like, well, we could fall in love. And so like also kind of weird because like he thinks he's in love.
right.
She, I guess maybe doesn't, but she's like, yeah, we absolutely could. Um, but I know it won't be enough right now. So like how does he even from his
How do you
perspective,
even come back from this at this point?
well, that's the hard part for me to wrap my head around this is oh, and he also does say immediately after that, he goes, "That's fucked up, James." And
Yeah,
I'm like, "It
he's not.
is," because what she's telling him is, "We could fall in love. We could be really good. Um, you proposed. Everything's great, but I need more. What do
I don't
you
know what else
need?"
he's supposed to do here. I don't
It
know.
just, I don't either,
And then he
because she's
forks
so
his
wrapped around this,
fingers.
like, yeah,
It
she's
says he
like, "You're only
forks his fingers
proposing."
through his hair, making the blonde locks stand up in various directions, which is
Like
always
this.
a fun, kind of like that, yeah. um, she's like, I need you to be her dad, but I need you to stop trying to make me a part of this. I know myself, and I'll eventually wear down, and the sex doesn't help because, damn, I would have said yes to just about anything last night when your mouth was on me.
Who says this? Who says this?
Oh.
So it's just, it's insane. Like, from his point of view, I have like granted, I think maybe proposing immediately probably jumps the gun a little
Sure,
bit. I
sure.
mean, because the more we talk about it, the more it's like that is pretty insane. You guys haven't talked for 2 years. You show
Right.
up, but you know you're
Oh yeah,
putting in
we're
the
not
work and stuff.
completely on. Trust me, we are not completely on Kevin's side here, but we also aren't 100% Team Jane in this
No,
situation either.
because
Um,
it doesn't make sense. And then she's just like, "So you're leaving again?" Um, and right on cue, his
Immediately,
phone rings,
phone call.
and he goes, "I've got to take this." So
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Dalton,
I think
Salty
it's
Dalton,
just
and I are both sick, so if we have sporadic coughing on this episode, that is why. Um,
this is our Michael Jordan flu game.
yeah.
You know,
So
we're powering through.
he doesn't leave the room, but he moves away from the table. There are a lot of yes sirs, and I understand. And
You
then
know
he
what that
hangs
reminds
up.
me of is that the Tim Robinson skit where he goes, "Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah,
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love you. Say it. Say it. Say it." And then hangs up.
yeah. And
Yeah,
he's been
and
medically
also,
cleared. He's been medically cleared.
but the thing that they don't cover is he's never been back to see a doctor.
No.
He's been in Texas
Yep.
since he got discharged there, and I don't know what the doctor's looking at. Maybe the doctor's just been like, "Yeah, it's been 6 weeks. You're good to go."
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know either. I don't understand what this
doesn't check his
medically clearing
hands.
process is. Because we've got
Yeah,
no background on that. We just know he was shot in the arm. He lost some feeling in his arm, but still was
like
able to
numb,
draw
but yeah, but
designs,
he can
tattoo
still draw
designs.
intricate.
Um
It's insane. Um,
and yeah, and now she's
and
sad.
she's just like, and now she's upset because she's like, "Oh my God, he's leaving. Like now we can never start a family." And I was like, "He was just trying to.
He
I don't,
literally was
I don't
just
know what you
proposing
want."
to you. And that's the
Yeah.
end of chapter
Um,
17. So we're zooming through this. It's insane.
yeah.
Um,
We're
chapter
flying.
18. Oh,
Yep. So Kevin again.
yeah,
So
Kevin's
Kevin is like,
perspective.
he just left James right after that phone call. So he's like, she doesn't believe I'm capable of being the man she needs. I don't bother calling, texting my buddy. I drive right to his offices.
Right to his
Um,
high-level security offices. Maybe they're called Windsor Security. Because wasn't
and he's
I don't
swearing
know.
at something on his laptop when he walks in. Cool.
Also, what time are I guess we don't know like what time of day this is because
And it said no, so
it
we
was
know
it's evening.
after Stella goes to bed.
Yeah, which like who knows? She was like what 2, 3 o'clock, 3 years old. So I mean, it
So
could
we're
be
talking
6, it
maybe
could be 7,
let's
it could
just
be 8.
ballpark it
Okay, but
7, 8
Cade is
p.m.
there. Cade is at the office still at like 8 o'clock at night.
I asked her to marry me again. Did he ask her
Wait,
before?
but first, yeah, he did like casually ask her earlier,
Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah. So he's finalizing travel plans for his jackass of a brother's wedding.
which is that's such a weird detail to have.
Yeah,
Uh,
we didn't even know he had a
So
brother.
that's what Cade's
So,
doing at 11 o'clock or 8 o'clock in his office is he's finalizing the travel plans for his jackass of a brother's wedding. Where it could have just been like, what's the matter? And he could have just been like, work, I'm just stressed from work.
yeah,
Instead,
or
she had to include that detail there.
got a wedding coming up. But yeah, apparently his brother is a total jackass and he has to travel for this wedding.
So
Um,
so Kevin's explained to Cade kind of like, here's what happened. Like, evidently she'll never know if I truly love her, and I shouldn't want to marry her for Stella's sake. I lean forward, bracing my elbows on my knees.
and he goes like, I don't know how to be, like, she's right. I don't know how to be in a family. And then he cute, far off distant look. He's the orphan. He said, I've never signed a long-term lease on a place to live, and I lease all my vehicles.
Yeah,
It just,
he just
we talk
contradicted
about that
himself.
truck. We talk about the interest rate, the down payment. He leases his vehicles. It's all he believes in.
Also, I don't
His
think
long,
that her point was you don't know how to sign a long-term lease on a house. I don't think that was her overall point there. My longest relationship is with my cell phone provider. He throws in
I
there,
think most people's are, maybe. I don't know. It's a weird thing to say.
and
And
he's like, "I
he's
only
just
come
like, and I
here."
only come here
Yeah,
because of you, and this is your hometown. And then he finally says it again. He's like, Corpus Christi is a hell of a town. We've got the beach and great seafood. It's like, all
weird
right,
ad for
weird
Corpus
plug.
Christi here.
Yeah,
Yeah, so come on down to Corpus Christi, find the love of your life.
which
Bang her
which is a
on her desk.
huge,
Yeah,
which is like a big city
yeah,
in a big college town. But yet you go into a bakery and somebody knows the name of
I
a high
guess.
school teacher,
I
which
guess.
I'm gonna guess there are probably several high schools in Corpus Christi.
So Glenn
Um,
called. I've been cleared, he tells Cade. And then to emphasize the point, he stretches out his arm and he flexes his fingers from this arm
mm.
that he was shot. So he's like, I've been cleared. I'm back to the war. I'll have to
But
earn my place
again, we
as the
don't know if
team
none of this
sniper.
is gone. And this is the first time I highlighted that. That's kind of the first time that you actually like. Let's see if I put an action note on there. It's like he's hinted at like killing a lot of people, but
Yeah, he
like this is
never
the
told
first
us
time
he
you
was
even
a sniper. Yeah.
this is the first time you find out at all what he does. It
Yeah.
doesn't even add anything to the. He could have said, "I'm joining the team again."
Right.
Um,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the
and
only
Cade's
family
just
he's
kind
ever
of like,
known.
yeah, Cade's like, "Well, that's what you wanted, right?" And he's like, never had a reason not to go, never had anything to stay back for. And so Cade is also just like, "Hey, man, like, you did your commit. You could retire. Like, they're not forcing you to come back in. They've
Right. He
just
could be
told you
medically
you can."
discharged or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, "You've got two choices, brother. You can win over Jane, or you can go back over there and keep fighting."
Settle
But he
down,
said,
have a wife and a kid,
yeah.
or you could go shoot some Nazis.
But he's like, "But you can't go back into battle with your head screwed up like this. You'll be a danger to yourself and the
Oof.
team."
He got heavy there for a little bit. It was like he's gonna be like sitting there American Sniper style on like the roof in like
Calling Stella, yeah,
and he's
tucking her
gonna
in.
like have the sniper train on somebody and then he's gonna be like Stella and he's gonna like accidentally shoot the wrong thing.
Stella!
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's just like, "I'd give anything to be back where you are, going back to teams." But he's like, "I don't have a woman or a kid, and I'm missing half a leg." Boy, that's kind of
Cade.
depressing.
Yikes. He was quiet for a moment. You always said that all you ever wanted was to be a SEAL. Is that still true? And then he throws in, all I ever wanted was to have my own family, to be part of a family, which is like, all right, you've never really mentioned that before, but okay. You didn't really
No.
want that until this
And
happened.
then Cade does that whole like,
Slaps his palm on the desk.
like romance movie where that guy's just like, "Then get after her, man."
And then he's
What
got
are
to
you
go
doing?
run in the rain. It's like, her plane's leaving. You got to go to the airport now. And then
Yeah,
you got to
and
be
he's just
running
like,
through traffic.
and they keep throwing the stuff in. He's just like, "Listen, you survived SEAL training, so you can do anything."
They've
It's
said
like,
that quite a
okay,
bit.
it's different stuff.
But then
But he said
he tells her to leave. He says, like, you got to get out of here. Go get her. And then it says, I leave Cade's office 30 minutes
30
later.
minutes later. What were they doing for the? Because in
The
my
rest of the
mind,
time.
if we were having a discussion and you slammed your
Yeah.
fist on the table and you were like, "Go after her, man. Go
Yeah.
go get your wife back."
I will.
That's
But first, I want to sit here and I want to talk about something else, for
and
30
like,
minutes.
did they just sit in silence? Because after that, I wouldn't be waiting for you to follow up. I would have either had to leave or just been like, traffic's a little rough right now.
He's like,
How
yeah,
about we
I
just
will leave, but I do want to hear more about your brother's wedding travel plans. Can you tell me more about
I'm
that? He seemed
actually
really
really
upset by
interested in that.
that. And then he's like, am I ready to walk away from my career? I've been a soldier my entire adult life, and I'm not sure I know how to be anything else. And that ends
Oh my
chapter
God.
18. We are now in chapter 19, and we're back at Jane's perspective, and she is talking
I just
to her friend.
I
What do you
hate
hate?
the switch between. I hate how each chapter begins with a different perspective because it's like you can just write the chapters and we can infer the
Right.
perspective change based on
Sure.
who's talking. It's just so weird how they're just like, all right, forget everything you just saw there. We're
Yeah.
moving over in the same timeline, same time to her. Yeah.
If it was like TV, it would be like the map would like zoom out and then like
Yeah. It
and
would go
zoom
back
in
and
on
zoom
that.
back in. Yeah.
So Jane's with
Got the
Danny.
24 clock
Yeah,
clicking.
her friend Danny, and Danny's like, did he say how long he'd be gone? Because remember, he proposed. She had said like no, blah blah blah, and then he got the call, and then he just dipped out. So we're in the same evening here. Jane blows out a breath and stares at the lesson plan sitting in front of her. She's like, nope. I assume he'll come back in another 2 years. Nice shot. That was a nice shot at Kevin.
Oof, oof. And
And
then
then
Danny's like, yo,
yeah.
you can't get mad at him. He didn't know. He literally got the phone call as you were talking.
Which is the
And she's
valid
like,
point. That works on Kevin's
and
side.
that's fine. And she's
Yeah.
like, you're right. I don't blame him for that. He's a great
He's a
guy.
great
Is
guy.
he?
He's almost
Is
like
he?
husband
Because,
material, but I don't want to marry him.
yeah.
Oh, I guess maybe it's been a few days. I don't understand. So maybe when she said, "Did he ask how long?" Because then she's like, "I've already told Danny about everything that's transpired over the last few days." So maybe this isn't the
Okay.
same night, but I guess he just has not gotten back to her since the rejection. I guess.
And to be fair, she said no. Instead it can't happen again.
Right.
And then they kind of walked away. And she's like, no, he made his choice. Like,
Yeah.
it would have never have worked. He's too hot for me. Way out of my league. That's what it boils down
Yeah.
to.
Which is like, what are we
It's
doing
not the whole
here,
stuff
Jane?
about I want him to love me for me. It's he's just too hot.
How many times
He's
does he
way
have
too
to
hot.
throw you up in the air and treat you like it's a Circus Soleil activity with your sexual experiences here for you not to be like, what do you mean by like, he's too hot for me? It's so stupid. She's like,
And and she
he,
goes,
yeah.
"Don't be an ass." Even though Danny is also the one who blatantly walked into the living room with him behind him, being like,
Hubba
"Yo,
hubba.
girl, he is
Yeah. You
shredded.
need to
Oh
bang
my
this man
god."
right now. Yeah. Danny
Yeah.
had the hots for him. And she's like, what the hell does that mean? You saw him. He looks like an underwear model. And then Danny, the voice of reason, she's like, but he's more than that, isn't he? Or is that all it was? Physical attraction.
And
As-
then
yeah.
she goes, tees off and goes, "No, he's amazing. He's sweet and funny, and he's perfect, except for being a soldier." So, okay.
Okay. Which again, that one Amazon reviewer was like, "He's not a soldier; he's a sailor." You get that right, Cat Baxter. You son of a bitch. Danny puts her hand on Jane's hand. She's like, "You love him," but it's not a question. She just goes, "You love him."
You love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love him. Okay.
She's like,
And
yeah.
she goes, "Do
You
I?
love him?
Do I, Danny?"
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I think about it's like that thing where it's like, I don't know what love is. I just think about him 24/7. I
Yeah.
picture our life together. He's an amazing father.
Yeah. He seems like
I don't
a
think
nice
that would
father figure.
qualify as
Yeah.
love. I'm not obsessed with him. He likes Harry Potter and Lord of the
So
Rings.
I do have a gripe with this. I hate that, like, again, we said this last time, like Cat Baxter using two of the biggest franchises in movie history to like try to like make it seem like, God, you're such a nerd because you like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. You know how many people saw these movies? Millions of people saw these movies. It's
I
not
think,
a nerd thing. It'd be
yeah.
one thing if they were like, he likes, and it's some like super obscure like German like folklore or something. Like,
Yeah. Well, it's just that, and like the time period this book is written in is modern times. So
you're
if
right.
you take them, rewind them to when they were growing up, roughly around the same time we did, I would interpret they're a little bit younger than us.
Sure.
There's no way that they didn't kids didn't watch all of this.
Yeah.
Like that was like prime for being exposed to Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings.
But she uses that as like a plus. Like we share this nerd connection because he's like he likes Harry Potter and
we've
Lord
watched
of
the
the
same
Rings.
two movies.
Yeah, so she's having this like
you know how rare that
inner
is?
discussion where she's like realizing like, oh God, I totally
Maybe I
love
do
him.
love him if I think about him 24/7.
How have I let this happen? She says.
And then she's like, I told him I didn't want him, and now he's gone. It's like, well, you did,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
that's what Danny says.
I
She's like,
mean,
I mean, why? It's not unreasonable. I mean, why you told him no makes sense to only want to marry someone when you know for sure that he loves you. And then she holds a hand up, but it is ridiculously unreasonable for you to assume that he won't ever love you because Stella came first. People all over the world get married because their parents arranged it, and they fall in love all the time. So that is not exactly the example that we
not
want to
the
use here,
same
Danny.
at
Arranged
all. That's
marriage is not exactly what we're talking about here, Danny. I mean, she's
and she
she's
does say
technically
that's
right.
different.
But like, I mean, that does happen. But at the same time, I think there's also plenty of situations where like people realize they're in love later on, or like a kid does come into the picture and it actually strengthens the relationship. Like this is it's not that crazy, but that's different. I say, all you've done is decide you're not good enough for him, and therefore you refuse to give him a chance to love you.
Okay, Danny dropping truth bombs.
Yeah, he makes me
And then
greedy. I whisper. He makes me
she's just
greedy.
like, makes me want it all. I want him to adore me, the woman, not the mother of his child. And I feel like everything leading up into this book is Stella's sort of been like off to this. We really
Yeah,
don't know that
yes.
much about
Stella's
Stella.
been
They've
put to
hung out a
bed.
few times,
Stella's like we have barely any interactions
but like he walks in with like a raging erection 24/7,
all
and
the
all he
time.
wants to do is just go after Jane. And like, I don't think he'd be doing that just because Stella's
I mean,
there.
he
In
was
fact, it's
doing that
weird that he's
before
doing it with Stella there.
he knew it before Stella even before he knew Stella existed. Remember when he came back to town and like
Yeah, he
banged her
called
on
her
the
up. He's
desk?
like, hey,
He
yeah,
didn't even know Stella existed until he stopped by her house later that day. So like, I don't know. They are,
uh, yeah. And so like, Danny's just saying like, don't make these decisions based on insecurities, et cetera, et cetera. Like, you know, he's offered to help all this sort of stuff, but he
right.
didn't have to propose. And then she goes, that night we were together was different. All other times it was raw and
Ugh,
fierce, but this was tender.
don't like
I
that.
hate the phrase, but we made love. We didn't just screw.
Oh,
Disgusting.
that whole couple sentences there are just the worst.
God,
Um,
it's just bad. It's
so
just
Danny's
bad.
Danny's like, you need to talk to him, give him a chance. Maybe don't get engaged, but at least date, see where this may lead. Which is, yeah, again, not horrible advice. It's like it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It could be like, hey, I may want to get married in the future. I don't necessarily want to do it right now, but let's still be together and like let's see what
Yeah,
happens.
she could have like been like, hey, like I appreciate that you proposed, but how about we just date?
Yeah,
You
what's
know,
wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that
nothing.
solution.
Nothing is wrong with
If you're
that at all, and
uncomfortable with being married, yeah, it doesn't make
that's
any
way better than
sense.
looking at him and saying we're perfect for each other. I think we could fall in love, but we
Right.
can't do it. I'm sorry, and
That's
for that
okay.
reason, I'm out.
It's okay. Yeah, right. It's okay if that happens. And Danny's like, my parents had a nasty divorce and still can't be in the same room together. We had to bring in a professional mediator so they could both attend my brother's wedding, and I'm emotionally stable. And then Jane rolls her eyes and goes, "That's debatable." It's like, Jane, now's not the time for quips, okay?
This
We're
is like
having a
a
serious
serious
discussion.
conversation, and she's like, "Whoa, how much
he
did you pay him?" Just
he
some
may
weird
not
like
even come
side joke.
back. But even as I say the words, I know them to be false. Kevin may not come back for me, but he'll always come back for Stella.
Hello.
Chapter 20. Jane. So we're still in Jane's perspective, they're letting us know. Because usually they flip flopped, but that was just Jane's perspective, and now we're staying in Jane's perspective.
I love this initial. Yeah, so Jane, she's grading papers, but
Yep.
Stella comes in and goes, "Where's Daddy?"
Oof.
And she goes, "Who?"
She, what? And then Stella points at the picture on her phone, the one I took of Stella riding on Kevin's shoulder. So it's like she's looking. Okay, so she's grading papers. So where did Stella come from? Where is the
How did
phone?
she get the phone?
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
is
I
the
don't
phone
know.
just was
Uh,
Jane just staring at the photo of them like in her other hand?
yeah, I don't
Um,
know. But it's been a week since Kevin left. But they have had
so he,
contact. He's been
yep.
FaceTiming with Stella every night. Um, And Jane says, as much as I hate to admit it, I miss him. I mean, we were just learning about how you just discovered how much you love this man. So yeah, obviously you miss him.
And
That
then
makes
and
sense.
then she asks her toddler, "How do you know that's your daddy, Stella?" And she goes, "He loves me." Well, yeah, I mean, but I feel like they brought it up that he was the dad at some point.
I feel
Um,
yeah, I feel like
but
there
it's kind
was.
of weird to probe like the talking to
Oh
a
no, I don't
child
think. I
mind
think they kept it
complex.
away. I think they kept it away, and that's why she's like, "What do you mean? How do you know that's your daddy, Stella? He loves me." It's like how what toddler is saying these things? It doesn't make any
It's like
sense.
it's like all those tweets where it's like my baby's first word was uh love because like she
Right.
was watching a documentary on war or something like that
Right.
where it's like my baby's
That's a
first
good
word
one.
was
That's funny.
namaste.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's
uh,
like that didn't happen. It
no, it
didn't
did not.
happen. Your baby's first words were like "Ah, fa, 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 fa."
Yeah, and
That's how
that's
it
an
goes.
impressive grasp of the English language there. He loves me. Yes, he sure does very much, and I'm sure he'll be back soon. And she's like, not that an explanation would mean anything to her. She's a smart toddler, but a toddler nonetheless. But she just figured out that that's her father, so I think she's a little bit smarter than the average toddler. Let's be honest. Um,
Apparently, if she's grasping these difficult concepts at 1.5 years old.
right. So the cell
We
phone,
spent time with Mandy. If you're listening, Harmon was a year and a half,
right,
basically
right.
around when Lily's birthday. And Harmon's fantastic and can say some words, but like not 100 words.
Well, right, because yeah, because she's normal. Like, I mean, that's what they do.
Yes,
But a toddler, this Stella apparently, she can detect a paternity test from a mile away. Um,
she can.
the cell phone goes off. She checks it from Stella. It's a text from her mom saying, "I have a showing at the Thompson house. Drop Stella
That
off
Thompson
there."
house is
It's that one
that's the
that we
one
saw
that
them
the
saw.
blue bungalow that they kept pulling up outside of, where she's just like, "Oh, I
Right.
just always liked this house," and he had that picture
Yeah,
of the
of the
exact
house that
same
kind of
house.
looked like it, but from it was from a magazine that he had like his
Yeah.
entire life.
So I guess we find out that her mom is a realtor here.
We didn't know that at all until now,
Nope,
right?
not a
Yeah.
clue. So cool.
Uh,
That's a weird, kind of weird introduction, being like,
Also,
"Hey,
um, I have a showing at the Thompson house. Drop Stella off there. Give me 20 minutes. But then we find out why. Okay, for a second I was like, that's kind of a
yeah,
weird thing. It's like, I'm in the middle of work, but please drop off this 1.5 year old at my place of work.
just drop her
Yeah.
off at the doorstep.
But
She'll find her way in."
we do find out that the reason why is because apparently tonight Danny and Jane are going out to drink away our problems, which likely means we'll have a couple of beers and end up on my couch with a gallon of Bluebell mint chocolate chip ice cream and 2 spoons. Wow, I mean, like, just so much unnecessary detail there, but funny,
Bluebell. I
but
mean, you
funny.
got to throw in the brand. She
Yeah,
might be sponsored.
that's
Cat
true.
Baxter and Bluebell have had a lot of what do you call it? Features and
Yeah, clearly.
uh, collaborations,
Yeah,
collabs.
collabs.
I just also I like the more we talk about this kid is a year and a half old,
Right.
and apparently is a super genius because she'll just be like, "You remember you're staying with Pop Pop and Noodle tonight?" Yes,
He's just like, yep, yep,
yes,
yep.
mother.
Let's clean everything up so we can head over there. I've got your suitcase in the car. Um, I guess okay. I'm not gonna knock it because I guess some kids have suitcases, but I just picture like a traveling businessman like briefcase type thing. It's like all right, but it's just got like Mr. Chicken in it. That's the only thing that's inside the briefcase.
It's
Um,
just Mr. Chicken because like they're
yeah,
only going for the night, so like she does need a change of clothes, but she could just wear the same clothes and
yeah.
fall
I don't know
asleep
if
in
she
them.
really
She's a
needs
year
a
and a half.
suitcase for all this, but okay. 20 minutes later, exactly 20 minutes later, which is what the text said. Give me 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, we pull up to the Thompson house and something pinches inside my chest. Oh,
It's a heart attack.
yeah. Um, my mother comes out the front door, closing it behind her. Stella runs to her while he grabs the stuff. How'd your showing go? Great. I think we may have a contract soon. That's good. You should go in and see it. The work they've done in the kitchen is amazing. You'll love it. Um,
It's like,
okay.
okay, that's kind of just
This isn't really how the housing stuff works, where it's like, yeah, I just showed this house, but you can also go in and see it right now.
Well, and she goes, you know how to lock up with the lockbox, right? So this mom has just either made her do showings before or has
Right.
brought her to so many
Just free,
that,
yeah, allowing
yeah,
anybody to
free
take a
reign of
look
the
here.
house. Do what you
Um,
want.
so she says, good night to Stella. You be good for Noodle, which again is what they call the grandmother for no reason.
Don't ask about it.
She walks up to the sidewalk to the house to step inside. It smells of fresh paint and lemon cleaner. The large open floor plan leads me from the living area to the kitchen with a huge island. Hold on, let me get the music going here because this is this. Nope, that's not the right music. The realtors often leave their business cards on the kitchen counters if they show the property, but I've never seen anyone leave a note on the fridge. I move closer. Please open. That's odd. But maybe there are cookies or something left over from an open house.
Why would you put the cookies
Jay,
in the
why would you
fridge?
put them? Who does that? I open the fridge and my breath catches when I see what's inside. The black box from a week ago that Kevin... she didn't say that. It says the black box with the
2
ring
weeks
that Kevin
ago,
offered
yeah.
me. I pull out the box and turn to find the man himself kneeling behind me. Which is like, all right, like... He's proposed now 3 times, which is the joke to start chapter 21. This is Kevin's perspective, and apparently Jane's first words are, "You have to stop proposing." She says,
and he goes, "Not until you say yes." And it's like,
so romantic.
Okay.
So yeah, he's like, "I want you to know I'm not going anywhere. I'm buying this house. Apparently, we can get a swing set for the backyard." She's like, "Why are you buying a house if you're leaving? Isn't that a waste of money to have a house payment?" And he's like, "No more
Clearly
missions."
missing the point here. Yeah.
No more missions. I'm done. I retired. This is it.
He's laying his heart on the line for her, but making sure to add, she's worth it. I'm here for good, and if I have to propose to you every day until Stella graduates from high school,
that would be freaking annoying at some point.
17 times 365, that's like 21,000 days.
Yeah,
or maybe
that would
more.
get old pretty fast. He'd be like, by like 77, he'd be like, all right, she's still saying no. I don't know if I should keep doing this.
Or like the proposals like start really grand, and then it's just like he's like picking up Stella from school and be like, "Marry me?"
Yep.
No, okay.
We doing this yet?
Oh,
no.
That almost had you for a second. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go. All right, say it. You, Janie, are my heart and soul, the love of my life. And she's like, I thought you said you didn't know what love was.
Yeah, and then he goes, "If what I feel for you isn't love, then every love song and romantic poem got it wrong. I feel it all."
Hey, let's do this. Let's do this.
Only you.
Let me put the music on again.
Okay.
And I want to do this. I want us to act this out. Okay? Like we're in. So you can skip the the stuff that isn't the dialogue.
Okay.
We're just gonna go dialogue here. Would you like to be Kevin or Jane? Yeah, please keep coughing. Would you like to be Kevin or Jane?
I'll be Kevin.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So from the top,
here we go. You have to stop proposing.
We're
going from the beginning of chapter 21.
Gotcha.
All right. You have to stop proposing.
Not until you say yes.
Kevin.
I want you to know I'm not going anywhere. I'm buying this house, Janie. We can get a swing set for the backyard, and Stella can grow up here.
Why are you buying a house if you're leaving? Isn't that a waste of money to have a house payment when you never know how long you're going to be away on a mission?
No more missions. I'm done. I retired. I'm here for good, and if I have to propose to you every day until Stella graduates from high school, I will. But you... Wait. Oh, I love her. She's my daughter, but you, Janie, are my heart and soul, the love of my life.
I thought you said you didn't know what love was.
If what I feel for you isn't love, then every love song and romantic poem got it wrong. I feel it all, just for you, only you. Will you say something, please?
Get up off your knees and come here and kiss me. I love you too.
Thank fuck.
That is fantastic. That Oof. And he stands up and he pulls her to her, kissing her with everything he has. Between kisses, she goes, so you retired? What will you do now? And he's like, I was hoping you'd be my sugar mama. It's like, all right, now again,
Yeah.
now's not the time for bits, Kevin. And she's like, yeah, because ninth grade English teachers make so much money. And then he throws in the fact that, yeah, he can probably just work for Cade's security company, which he hasn't
And
talked to Cade about
supplement
whatsoever.
with this tattoo design.
Oh, I got to see these designs. I really
How
do.
much? How much is he selling these designs for?
Yeah,
Is he just going to tattoo places? Because my experience with tattoo artists
right,
is
right.
they're all artists,
Yes.
so they like to draw and they
Yes.
draw their own design. So are you just like going to a tattoo parlor, slapping a book on the table and going, "Anyone want to pay for the drawings I did for you to draw on them?"
Yeah, I don't understand this concept. Like, are
I
they?
don't get it either.
So yeah,
I
is
don't,
he like?
because also it's weird for a tattoo shop to like buy designs from independent parties. I don't know, like if they're
I feel like that's
licensing
rare.
agreements.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Are
usually
they
a shop is
trademarked?
made up of their own artists. Yeah, doing their own things or whatever. But he apparently also has a chunk saved, considering I've never had anything to spend money on.
He could buy what he should have said is, "You remember my truck?
Yeah,
I bought it. I
Yeah.
bought out the lease.
Yeah.
This is real."
no long-term
This
lease
is
here,
real.
baby. I bought it.
Yeah.
I own it all. He's like, "Will you wear the ring?" And she's like, "I love this ring. Yes, I'll wear it, and I'll marry you. I'm sorry I was stupid." He's like, "Baby, you weren't stupid. You deserve to have a man adore you. Nothing wrong with wanting that." And she's like, "Even if I want to dress up like a hobbit for Halloween," again, stop it with the
What?
freaking Lord of the Rings jokes. We can all be hobbits or wizards or
wizards.
whatever. Again, another note here.
It's like
If
it's
these
they
are
only do things they know.
well, that's what I'm about to say. If these are truly like, oh, he knows Lord of the Rings so well, and it's like he's such a nerd like me. You've just named two of the most generic aspects to Lord of the Rings: hobbits and wizards. Like it's not like he was like,
And also, for
even though I want to
Harry
dress up
Potter,
like Frodo or whatever, it's like dress up like a hobbit. She says, you know,
they go to wizard school.
yeah,
Like
right.
that's all of Harry Potter.
Right.
And oh my god, it's just
She kisses
okay.
me. My heart has
Yep.
never felt more alive.
Stella's already calling you daddy, and he's like, for real.
Yeah.
And when I asked her how she knew, she said it's because you love her. Our daughter is brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yes,
Brilliant.
yes, she is.
Oh,
Done.
that's it. We got to get the applause here because this is the first bad
hold on.
book. This is that's it.
Yeah, but it says if you didn't get enough of Finn and Sadie, click here for a bonus epilogue.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I don't know if Finn and Sadie are.
It's the Curves and Cradles bonus epilogue. Get your free copy.
Yeah,
What?
but I don't think
They made an epilogue? And who are Finn and Sadie?
I don't know. I think that's referencing a different book. I can't imagine. Okay.
No,
all
because
right,
it says if you didn't get enough, click here for the bonus epilogue. There's
Okay.
no one in this story called Finn and or Sadie.
All right, fine. I filled out this thing. I have to put in my first name and my email address, and then I have to check this box that says, I understand that I'm signing up for Cat Baxter's email newsletter, and I'm free to unsubscribe at any time. Now I have to confirm my email. Click this link. Okay. This is a lot of work, Cat Baxter. Start reading in my browser. Okay. A bonus epilogue. Okay. Wow. This is we do have ourselves a bonus epilogue. Okay. I'm going to
I have no clue.
I'll read some of this to you here. I think it's really short. Hold on, let's see. So I've clicked this, start reading in your browser. Okay. So this is from Kevin's perspective about a year later. I park my truck in the garage.
2.5.
Yes. I park my truck in the garage, then head inside the house. I don't call out announcing my presence because I never know if one of my girls is napping. Janie has been real tired lately, and I'm about to drive her to the doctor myself. Maybe she needs some vitamin shots or something. Okay.
Okay.
Stella, on the other hand, seems to be having a never-ending supply of energy. That's probably in part because of Jane keeping our daughter on a sleep schedule. The point being, my girls both enjoy a good nap. Second time he said that. Daddy! Stella squeals when she sees me. She runs to me with her arms up. I pick her up and she cups my face, squeezing my cheeks together. I missed your face, she says. I missed your face, I tell her. My voice sounds funny because of my squished cheeks. I missed your face. My heart
there you go.
tightens
Good.
like it always does when I'm reunited with Stella. Doesn't matter how long we're apart, an hour or a day. This kid of mine, she is the moon and stars to me. Where's Mommy? She's folding clothes. Stella's. I like to picture Stella as a sassy 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Stella
And we know how
squirms.
he feels about folding clothes.
There's only 6 pages here, so this will be quick. She's folding clothes. Stella squirms to get down from my arms. She told me that Noodle's coming to get me for a sleepover and that I should show you my shirt and pack my stuff. Okay. Do you need help with packing? Remember last time, and you insisted you packed everything you needed, and then Noodle called and told us you only had your stuffed loveys, your chicken, and a box of Pop-Tarts. She pops a hand on her hip and rolls her big blue eyes at me. Daddy, I'm a big girl now. I packed clothes and even remembered my undies wears. Sorry, this is making me comfortable. Knuckle. I hold my fist out for a bump and she slams her smaller knuckles into mine. Go get your stuff and put it by the door so when Noodle gets here, you're all ready to go. Stella runs off to do what I say. Normally, when Jane plans a sleepover for Stella at her grandparents' house, it's for the two of us to have some alone time. I'm very much looking forward to. Oh God, here we go. This is get the cringe cowbell ready.
Oh boy.
I'm very much looking forward to getting my wife naked and making her scream, since normally we have to keep the sex quiet.
Okay. Cool. So they've been picking up right where they left off.
Yep. There was a honk outside the house. Stella Luna, Noodle is here, I call. Which, again, we haven't established. Is that her actual name, Stella Luna? Because that's stupid. I got my stuff, Daddy. She runs to the front door with her backpack and a toothbrush in her hand. Kiss, please, I say. I squat so I'm more at her level, and she presses a damp kiss to my cheek. I love you. I love you, too. She's nearly out the door before she spins around to face me again. You forgot to look at my shirt. She holds her arms open. It has a cartoon girl on it, kind of a fancy stick figure, with a halo of blonde ringlets and big blue eyes just like my Stella. Underneath it, it says, promoted to big sister. Bye, Daddy. Then she skips off. I close the front door, letting the news penetrate my brain. I practically run down the hall to the bedroom to find my wife. She's sitting on the edge of our bed, wearing nothing but a T-shirt that looks remarkably like Stella's, only this one is a cartoon drawing of a baby, and underneath it says, coming soon. I drop to my knees and look up at her. We had just started talking about trying to get pregnant, I say. Which, okay, all right. I'm not, okay.
Oh, my God.
Her eyes are glassy with tears. Evidently, your super sperm were ready to make it happen. Gross?
No.
Gross.
No.
Happy tears?
No.
I ask. She nods. Are you happy? I wrap my arms around her body, pressing my cheek to her belly. Janie, I never even knew enough to dream about a love like ours. You would have been more than enough for me for an eternity. Stella makes life even better. But another baby? I get to be here for all of this time. I hate that I wasn't here for you with Stella. This time I won't miss anything. Kevin, baby, you would have been here with me had you known. I love you so much. It's like, oh, now you get it, Jane. I love you. Every day gets bigger, too. Like, I don't think I can love you any more than, boom, my heart grows again. You're my miracle, Janie. My family. You finally brought me home and gave me a family of my own. The end. Okay. Wow.
So, okay. One question, Cat Baxter.
Couple questions, yeah.
Why didn't you just throw this in at the end of the book?
Yep. Why did I have to give you my email and my first name?
Yes.
I'm going to be unsubscribing pretty immediately.
Also, we referenced Finn and Sadie for the epilogue.
Yeah, I don't know why it says that. That must have been a typo.
No.
Maybe that's from a different book. I don't know.
Maybe. Interesting. Okay, yeah. So he's got super sperm. They're pregnant with number 2. And she was just buck naked wearing just a T-shirt.
Yes. So there's that.
Okay.
So we have finished the book. I wanted to run. We won't spend too much time on this, but I want to run through a couple of book club questions before we end this. Which also, again,
the only thing that's going to give our podcast legitimacy.
Yes, this puts it in the educational category.
Tying it back to the big O. Oprah,
yes.
shout out. R.I.P.
Yes, yeah. Shout out.
Is she? She's
No,
still alive.
she's very much alive.
She's still alive.
Um,
Yeah, I knew that.
I will say, I forget what I was going to say. All right, question one: what was your favorite part of the book?
The ending, where the book was over and it was done.
I liked when I liked the opening bar scene because
Yeah, actually, that was pretty good. That
with the
that's from the first
hipsters,
chapter.
the
Yep.
hipsters with the tight jeans, even though this guy wears very tight jeans. The tripping, the goofy grin. There's a lot of great
The
lines in the beginning of this book.
the erection that lasted 3 hours.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot of them, the public making out in the middle of the bar, the
Actually,
criticism of
I'd
the
say
bar. Yeah,
my favorite part was the car where they drove by and the guy was like, "Get a room,"
yeah.
and I was like, "This guy gets it.
This guy,
This
this guy
guy
gets
gets
it.
it."
Question two: what was your least favorite part of the book?
I would probably say the sex scene in the school.
Yeah, that actually came to mind as well. That
And
was gross
specifically
and illegal.
the part of the book where he said, "Don't worry about the condom. I
Yeah,
disposed of it."
dropped it in the trash can. The janitor's peeking through the door.
Yeah.
Just, are you guys done in there yet? Um, did you race to the end, or was it more of a slow burn? Is the question here.
I think we raced pretty fast.
Yeah, yeah, I think we did.
I think we went at a decent pace. I don't think I lingered over any chapter
No,
specifically.
don't think
If
so.
that was the question, Oprah.
Question four: which scene has stuck with you the most?
School, the school scene.
Yep. Gross.
Can't get that out of my brain
And
because
illegal.
it's just so many
Gross.
other connotations with that going down. The
100%
illegality
gross.
of it.
What did you think of the writing? Are there any standout sentences? Oh, there's quite a few standout sentences. As
Hmm.
far as the writing goes, yeah, I mean, we had a lot of sexual, not the sex part itself, but the comments that Jane would make in her head.
Her smile had a direct line to my
Yep,
thing.
I've got it right here. And then, yeah, this whole paragraph is a prime example here. After a moment of shock, I tilt my head and take control of the kiss, sliding my tongue against hers. We taste and tease one another. She moans into my mouth, and my hardens behind my zipper. I groan,
Yep.
frustrated that we're in a bar and she's wearing clothes. That's just a good example of the writing here. Did you
Yeah.
reread any passages? If so, which ones? Well, you know, we reread. I don't know if I reread a lot.
No, I think we had to reread a couple of times where we were not clear who or what was speaking or being done. I think
Right.
there was some. I think the way how they separate it by chapter, but then still have dialogue between them in the same chapters is very confusing. No, I
Yeah.
don't think I really went back and reread a lot of stuff.
No. And the most confusing parts would sometimes come up in the sex scenes where you're like, who's
Hmm.
doing what to who now? So yeah. Number 7. Would you want to read another book by this author? Would I
100%.
want to read another book by this author? I mean, yeah, I'd have to say yes. I would. I would. I'd like to read. Apparently, there's like Cars and Cradles is another book in this
Yeah,
universe.
that there at the end of the Kindle book, you get an excerpt from Cars and Cradles.
Oh, okay. Well, we won't read that right now, but I think that's something you and I can check out on the side. Question 8: did reading the book impact your mood? If yes, how so? It made me
Uncomfortable.
queasy
Um,
at times.
yeah, there was some parts of that were uncomfortable to talk about in a public forum such as this. So I think
Yeah.
there was some laughter.
Uh huh.
There was some disgust.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think it was pretty good.
Here's a good one. If you could ask the author anything, what would it be?
Uh, hmm. Why?
Why did you write? This is a good one. Um,
What was the inspiration for this book? Actually, is
that's a
what I
good
would love.
question.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask about some of the minor details in the book that were kind of presented and then We never had much follow up to them.
Yeah, the weird stance on birth control, roses,
Yeah.
and being a soldier. I think those three.
Right.
A lot of random shots. Also, why did Jane's family just dunk on her constantly?
Yeah, that was a little unnecessary there. How does the book's title work in relation to the book's content? If you could give the book a new title, what would it be? um, if we could give the book a new title, what could it be?
Soldiers and babies.
That's soldiers and babies, and then like the
Or
subtitle
father in the line of duty
in the line
with a
of
child.
duty with two O's TY because of
Yes,
the diapers.
and then subtext.
Yeah,
Um,
in the line of duty. I like that.
secret secret child from Secret Love or something.
With secret agent,
Yeah. Oh, that
secret
secret
child
child
with
with
secret
secret
love
agent.
with
Father
secret
in the
agent.
line of duty. Secret child with secret agent. I
Yeah,
think that is a
done.
phenomenal new title.
Perfect. Is this book overrated or underrated? Well, considering it has 4.5 stars on Amazon, I feel like it has to be overrated because I don't know.
Overrated.
I don't know 4.5
Overrated.
stars.
Yeah.
Here's the last two questions. Do you think you'll remember it in a few months or years?
Um, I think I'll remember the concept of it.
Uh-huh.
I sincerely hope that I don't think about this book for longer than I have to.
And would you ever consider rereading it? Why or why not?
No, and no comment.
No, you're not going to reread it. Yeah, yeah. I
Probably
don't.
not. Actually, tell you what, if there was a situation where I was crash landed, um,
Mhm.
in kind of a like lost situation
Right.
or a castaway, if you will, and I had my
Okay.
phone, which had access to Kindle, I would probably read the books that I have on my Kindle, which now includes Curves and Cradles, because I would have no other content to digest.
Here's the problem: is now because I've ordered this book and some others.
Yeah. Oh, you getting recommendations for other books? Because I am.
Yeah, we've got Ignite My Heart, a reverse grumpy sunshine curvy girl romance.
What
Um,
does that? What do those words mean? A reverse
hey, it's another Cat
grumpy
Baxter
man.
book. Um, this is
What
this
does
is
that?
a hell of a title. Ignite My Heart, a reverse grumpy sunshine curvy girl romance, Saddle Creek, Texas, The Whitmores, Book 2. What kind
Oh
of
wait.
what kind of name
Whoa,
is
whoa,
this?
whoa! Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, Cat Baxter has so many.
Yeah.
Um, one just says the grouchy lumberjack's pride by Cat Baxter. One is the dude who he's wearing overalls with no shirt underneath, with a hard hat on that just says "Built to Last." Um,
Now I got this one here. Sweet Addiction, a curvy single mom,
oh, I
brother's
see that.
best
Yep.
friend, small town romance, whiskey men, wounded heroes. So it's got to be a search function type thing to have all these like keywords in these titles because like here's one, it's called Stalked by the Mountain Man.
That's the one I just pulled up.
Stalked by the Mountain Man.
There's only one man I've ever loved, my father's best friend, my stalker.
What the hell?
He follows me around town. He prowls around my house. He's always in the shadows. My father's best friend thinks I don't know he's the man stalking me.
How come it
But
says
here's what he's
0
about to
pages?
learn. I'm as obsessed with him as he is me. And tonight, I want to tease him out of the shadows and on to my bed.
Oh, this comes out in 5 days, October 24th. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not saying we have to choose this one,
Honestly,
but I mean,
if you
it's
love an OTT alpha mountain man who's obsessed with this curvy woman, interesting. Okay.
yeah. This might be one to bookmark because I feel I feel like this could be a possibility.
Let's bookmark it October
All right,
24th. It comes out.
I'm
Yeah,
adding it
that
to
one
my
actually.
I'm adding it to my new list on Amazon. Okay.
All of Cat Baxter's start with curves and blank. Curves and cowboys, curves and cars. There's curves and crushes, curves
This
and
is
chefs.
Mia Brody
Yeah,
with the
I
Baxter.
think we do need to
Yeah,
move off of Cat Baxter for
I
this one.
agree. It's Mia Brody. Mia Brody writes steamy stories about alpha men who fall in love with big, beautiful women. She loves happy endings, ugh, and every couple she writes will get one. When she's not writing, Mia is searching for the perfect slice of cheesecake and watching way too many K dramas. So that's Mia Brody might be. We don't know yet for sure. So here's what as we wrap up here. Here's what's going to happen is Salty and Dalton and I need to think about the possibilities for the next book. So we're going to run through some options, and not right now, but we're going to run through some options before the next episode. But trust us, we will pick a winner because there are some amazing options out there for sure. So I am excited.
Oh,
for that.
100%.
So we stay in tune with the show. Again on YouTube.
With your bodies.
And subscribe to the podcast and all that good stuff. And we will see you all next time. Sayonara, my sweet, sweet suckers.
We outie.